In the next 5 hours, we're gonna put an 11 by 16 pond in here with the waterfall.
Say.
We did this in, see that timer in the corner? We did that in 4 hours and 28 minutes. It's a $9,000 job. It was supposed to be a $9,000 job, but actually it turned out to be a little bit more like $11,500 because we put a few extra things in it that you wouldn't do in a normal job. But either way, we're gonna break this thing down for you right now. It's going to be 3 guys working, and you know what? We're going to get it done in one day and show you everything step by step, how we do it, including the price of materials, the price of the kit, the pond kit itself, how much labor you should anticipate, and exactly how to do this. So what are we waiting for? Let's start installing a pond. So step 1 is mark out your pond.
Let's just do like, I guess with an 11 by 11 we can't get too creative with the shape.
Get creative. You don't have to go with just a circle.
So we've laid out the pond. The second step is lay out your filters.
So this is what you guys are going to get in your truck. You can put this right in the back of a F-150 or maybe not a GMC or a Chevy. Sorry guys, had to get that in there. I'm just teasing.
Brian, what's great about these pond kits?
What isn't great about the pond kit, Chris, is the better question.
Ed, what's the nice thing about having different size pond kits?
Well, the nice thing about it is the flexibility. Everything that you need for the project comes in one box. So all your fittings, your silicone, your waterfall foam, your piping, your pump, the biological filter, the pre-filter, everything you need minus the rock and gravel is inside this box. So when you're doing a job, you don't have to second guess anything. You know all the components are going to be there. The beauty of it is it gets delivered very quickly and easily to the job site, easy to move around, and because of the range of sizes, we could price it accordingly.
So you don't have to run to the store for anything, Ed?
Last thing we want to do is run to the store because we're going to be doing this in 6 hours. So if we lose one of our team members for 2 hours, now all of a sudden that shifts everything. A guy is going around looking for a little random piece or a part, and it completely throws the day.
Your profits are gone.
Gone.
This is the other thing. This is the other component to it.
Nothing too technical.
Pliers, paint, the heat gun in case you have to do a repair. I'm gonna guess this is for repairs.
Exactly. Yep.
Ripped PVC, cable liners, electrical tape. So this, a couple knives. So set up 1 bucket for each crew. You're good to go. Plus a couple, 3, 4, 5 shovels, right?
You got it.
And that's the tools.
Wheelbarrow, ball cart is handy as well, depending upon the size of the boulders you're going to be working with, but nothing much. I mean, everything you should be able to take in a regular dump truck.
You don't need that Toro Dingo over there. Sorry, Toro, don't need you for these kinds of jobs. The point is we're trying to show that you can do a $9,000 job without high-tech equipment and get it done in a single day.
This kit retail, I believe, is $1,300.
$1,300. You probably got another $700 in boulders, rock, and labor for the day?
Yeah, so we're gonna have rock and boulders total for waterfall for the entire pond and everything. We're probably looking at about 5 tons of boulders and then another ton of gravel. So a ton of gravel is gonna cover 100 square feet, 1 inch deep, 1.5 inches deep. So with our 11 by 16 foot pond, those are the maximum dimensions. We're gonna probably have about 100 square feet of actual flat areas where the gravel's actually gonna go.
How many boulders? On the pondless waterfall, we need 12 to 15 boulders?
This is gonna be 5 tons. So we're looking at several pallets of rock. Now the rock is it's gonna be a blend. I like to do a blend of 1 to 2 to 1. 1 part small, 2 parts medium, 1 part large. So that's gonna give us that good naturalistic blend. Small is a 6-inch to 12-inch.
Okay.
The medium is 12 to 18-inch. 12 to 18-inch boulders are gonna be 200 pounds a piece. You're gonna get 10 of them per ton. The large ones are 18 to 24s. Those are 400 to 500 pounds a piece. 1 ton of those, you're gonna get 4 to 5 rocks.
Okay. All right, let's review some of these numbers because this is probably one of the most important parts of this video, and I want to make sure we're getting off on a clear understanding. Now, Ed said the package price for the pond kit itself was about $1,300 to $1,500. What I'm going to do for you right now is find the absolute best price and link it through Dirt Monkey. So there's going to be a link right below this video. You're not going to find a better price anywhere unless you go right directly to Aquascape's website and order it through them. But you have to be a certified Aquascape contractor to get the same price that I think we're going to try to get for you right at Dirt Monkey University. Second thing, let's talk about the price per ton of those boulders. Now, Ed has said there's 5 ton of boulders on this project. 5 tons can vary a lot in price. I buy my boulders wholesale for $75 per ton. So I'm going to spend about $325 in boulders for this project. But boulder prices can go all the way up to $225 per ton. So instead of spending $300 and some dollars for boulders, you could end up spending almost $1,200 in boulders. Here's a recommendation I'm going to make to you. Buy a whole bunch of boulders at the cheapest price you can if you have a yard and stockpile them. Then sort them out in different sizes. And then anytime you have a pond project come up, you can go to your yard, get the right boulders, load them up, and haul them out.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna blend all those different things together. The big boulders are gonna be for the waterfall as well as some of the accents. Medium boulders are gonna fill the majority. Then that small rock is going in between everything. The reason we do that is we want that naturalistic look. If you did a pond completely out of small rock, it looks bad. If you did an entire pond out of monster boulders, it looks bad because in nature that doesn't happen. You want that contrast. A big rock looks big because there's a small rock next to it. When you take a small rock and put it next to this other one, it gives people perspective.
So we've got 1,300 in the kit.
Yep.
With boulder, with rocks
Yeah,
at
about 2 grand.
500, 5 tons. Typically a rock price is going to be around $80 a ton if you're using fieldstone boulders, at least in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, around here we're about 120.
Okay, let's just call it $100 a ton. So we got $500 in rock.
Yep, and then another $100, $150 in gravel.
Okay, so we got $2 grand in materials,
Yep.
a day's labor, and you're charging $9 grand for this job?
For this job, 11 by 11 is 9, so this one's going to be an 11 by 16. We're going to probably be in the 11 range.
So the guys are going to walk home that night with about $8,000 of profit in their pocket. And then they're not going to work all next week and just do one more the following week and make more than you can in a white collar job.
So this is that step 2 we talked about. Very first thing I want to do is get this thing located to where it's going to sit in the yard.
Okay.
And then get this located, hook up the fittings, hook up the plumbing into the back, because then all the spoils from here get flipped, put over here, and now we can just bury this thing. If you were to take all this dirt, throw it over here first, then later you'd have to shovel through all of that stuff to get this thing set, dig through all that to trench your pipe, and it wastes all kinds of time.
Okay, but how do you know what elevation to set the spillway at?
Great question. So the biggest mistake people will make is the same mistake we talked about with the pondless waterfalls. They set it too high. This looks very unimpressive right now, doesn't it? The height of this waterfall.
Yeah.
When I'm done, and that's only about maybe, 17 inches above grade at this point. When we're done, by the time the berm gets out and through here, by the time big boulders get in here, it's gonna feel much bigger. What I wanna try to avoid is that volcanic look. So we have what we call that 2 to 3 foot rule. Once we get this set and leveled off, I wanna bring soil all the way up to here. When it comes to here, what I don't want it to do is go down like this. Because then I've created an anthill, or even worse, this volcano with water spewing out of the top of it. I want that dirt to feather out as far as I can possibly take it. The bigger your berm, the more natural this thing looks. The other thing I never want to see is boulders brought up to this to try to hide it. That looks really, really ridiculous.
Okay.
So we set it here. You always set it at the opposite end of the other filter.
So this is our mechanical filter. This is the Skimmer. So what this does is it has a suction that comes across the top of the water. The reason that's important is we're going to set the water elevation approximately right around this screw hole here. So as the pump is discharging water outside of this box, it creates a suction coming in. Any leaf debris that falls inside of the pond is going to get drawn into a catch basket, which is sitting right over there, a little black catch basket. So for easy removal, you remove that stuff out. The other important piece about this is this entire system is designed as a functioning unit. It's like buying a fully made car, right? You go to a car lot, you buy something, it's designed, all the pieces are designed to work together. If you wanted to build the car on your own, you can do that. It's gonna take a lot longer. You're gonna have to put all these little pieces together and you're gonna have to configure how all that stuff works. This is designed as a system. We get consistent results because it took us 5 years of R&D 25 years ago to come up with that process. The right skimmer, the right pump, the right pipe, the right biological filter. You take out one of these pieces, it impacts the function, and there's going to be an impact on the water quality, the fish, etc. So, the reason I'm saying that is the skimmer is responsible for drawing that water in. Keeping that leaf debris outside of the pond is key, because if you don't have a skimmer, that debris falls to the bottom, decays, rots, and causes problems. The other thing that does is it now sends clean water without debris up to our biological filter. That's going to detoxify the water. So that's the key to all of this. The water returns, everything gets circulated nicely, and the cycle repeats.
We're doing one part of the plumbing over here.
Okay.
So this is
the
our
scariest part for a lot of contractors.
Yeah, which is really, it's a no-brainer. So with your biofalls, you're gonna you see 2 holes on the back side of this.
Yep.
I got 2 bulkhead fittings here, and then 2 other miscellaneous fittings here. The key with the bulkhead fittings is this. You have 2 washers. You have this flexible rubber washer, and then you have a hard, rigid washer. The only thing you have to remember, the rubber washer goes on the water side of every container. So I'll come over here, drop this in, flip this over, now put my plastic washer on. This has that reverse thread on it. So I spin this on.
No lube?
No lube. That rubber washer, as I compress it down, creates a nice watertight seal. Notice I'm just doing it hand tight here.
Now if you get that in dirt, you got to clean that rubber seal, because that is where your water, that's sealing. That rubber seal is vitally important.
Yep. So I don't know if you can see this, Stanley, but this is plastic, right? Which also means there's plastic threads on there. So when I'm tightening this, I only want to go maybe 1 full turn past hand tight. So I'll hold this, you can see it going, maybe a little bit more. All of us are strong enough to keep going and going, but eventually you'll pop that plastic thread. If you hear a snap, don't think it's okay. You've created a leak and you got to get a new bulkhead fitting.
Now you're going to put a 1.5" conversion down, right?
Yep. So I've got this. I've got a 2-inch male pipe adapter, but notice I think we've got, no, that's a 2-inch pipe. We got 2-inch pipe with a 2-inch male pipe adapter. I have 2 options. I can put it here or here, but we've decided to put the skimmer box there, so I want to make sure I put this on this side of the container where the pipe will run this way. This one here is it's an option. So we just give you a plug and you plug it up. If you wanted to, you could run another pipe off of this and occasionally back flush this thing. Open it up, drain the water out, and run it to a lower area. It's not necessary though. This biofalls, we don't suggest cleaning this more than once a year. Every time you clean it, you destroy all that beneficial bacteria that's growing in there. So back flushing this thing would be restarting your biological filter over and over once a month. And we want it to get aged, right? So with this, either a little bit of Teflon tape around each one of these, or in the kit they give you some silicone. So I'm just gonna put a little dab of silicone around the threads of this and then thread them in.
Okay. You've already got the flex line. It's black so that it's not clear. Let's get something straight, because if you had a clear line and it got exposed to sunlight, it's a algae trap, so you use black.
We use black.
And bury it.
We bury it, all set for Schedule 40. So it uses regular Schedule 40 fittings. The nice thing about going with flex pipe versus rigid pipe, this is freeze resistant. It'll handle the brutal winters of Chicagoland area, Zone 5, very, very easily. The other nice thing about this is, I was talking just a little bit ago about matching the right pump with the filter. If you have rigid PVC, I'm gonna have a series of 90s and elbows and 45s zigzagging my way over to my filter. Every time I put a 90-degree elbow in place, it puts back pressure on the pump and it limits the flow rate. That's gonna cut back on the circulation. It's gonna cut back on the filtration.
We want to try to lay it into that excavation.
We forgot to start the time clock. So we started, I did take a look at it, you guys. It was 16 minutes, 16 whatever. So we're 14 minutes in. My bad. How many cubic yards do you typically have to haul out, or what do you do with the spoils on this case, guys?
0. We don't haul anything out when we're doing a pot of this size, and that's because we're creating a waterfall. So
even with a pond of this size, you don't haul anything out?
So rule of thumb, if you have an 11 by 16 foot pond 2 feet deep, you're gonna have an 11 by 16 foot berm 2 foot tall. Our waterfall is gonna be 2 foot tall, so all of this soil is gonna mound up and wrap around that entire
to
edge.
make it look natural.
You got it.
Ding! Dirt Monkey gets 1 point. What is the depth of the pond?
2 feet.
2 feet. 2 feet below grade. Okay.
2 feet of water, not 2 feet below grade, 2 feet of water.
2 feet of water. So what is the depth below grade then?
Completely up to you, but we usually set the water level 3 to 4 inches below our main viewing area. So let's just pretend the house is over here, you come out on the deck. I want that water level to come close to this, right? So this would be my 0 point. We're gonna set water level 3 inches lower than probably the bottom of this area here.
Okay.
Right? Everything else will get adjusted to that. Now, if you have a typical yard, this is your house, this is your deck, what's the yard do? So this is your deck, here's the house,
Pitches away from
it all
the house.
pitches.
Yeah.
So if I want to put a waterfall on the opposite side over here, what would I have to do to that waterfall?
It's got to get brought up.
Brought way up, right? As it comes up, how much bigger does your berm need to get? Bigger and bigger and bigger. So a lot of times then you change the design around. You might bring the waterfall way up here, let it drop into a pool, take advantage of that slope that goes away, let this spin through a little stream and put the pond down here a little bit more, but get something visible from inside the house.
Okay, so you got your initial shelf done. That's the outlying shelf. This center shelf goes how deep, Brian?
Another 8 to 10 inches.
So what's the maximum depth of that interior shelf? 2 feet?
So this will be about 16 to 18 inches below water. The bottom, this should be around 16, 18 inches below water level, and then we'll do another one that'll take us to our final 2 foot depth.
Oh, so you got 3 shelves in here.
3 shelves. Yep.
Okay.
So every website's going to tell you a different piece of information, especially regarding fish and how deep does a pond need to be to have fish in there. Someone will say 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. We've been building ponds 2 feet deep, housing koi in them for over 25 years. And if fish were dying in 2 feet of water, at this point in our careers, we'd probably say make it deeper, but they don't die. They make it through every winter. And this winter, how cold did it get?
Negative 37.
Negative 37, negative 50 at one point.
Yeah.
There was one day it was negative 50, and all my fish are still alive.
Do you have a little heater or anything in there?
So the most important, I'll actually let the scientists kind of go over it, but why you have to keep a hole open in the ice, because
For gas exchange. So what we want to do is we want to release carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is going to be decomposition happening. The fish are going to be respiring still. On the right, respiration is going to be happening. Carbon dioxide, they'll suffocate if it's closed off. So by having a little hole open in the ice, carbon dioxide escapes. It allows oxygen to come in. We have a little bubbler or a small heater.
Basically, the plumbing on the skimmer is almost identical to the back of the biofalls. So you've got your 2 holes that were pre-drilled here that the bulkhead fittings go on. From this point, after installing the 2 bulkhead fittings, guys, remember the rubber gasket goes on the water side, so it's going to go inside the skimmer itself. The nice thing about the skimmer is that you can run a couple different configurations out of here. Because of the 2 bulkhead fittings, you can have 2 pumps, you can have a pump and an overflow. If you have 2 pumps in here and still want to do an overflow, there's actually a dimple that is drilled on the back, and you use that as your guide, and you can use a hole saw, cut another hole, put another bulkhead on there, and actually have your overflow out there and have a pump and a pump.
So let's talk about everything you just said. An overflow allows for when the water fills up from a natural rainstorm, you give it an outlet somewhere so it doesn't just spill out and ruin your whole landscaping.
Correct.
So you have a dedicated overflow zone that you
Correct.
know that the water's going to run out.
Yep.
The reason you want to have multiple pumps is maybe you've got one return pump and you've got a separate pump powering a fountain or something
Fountain,
else.
it could be some underwater circulation jets. It could just be another supplemental pump for the waterfall itself.
Oh, so we want to get to
It's going to be right about in here.
the third dimple
Yeah,
up.
so that's what we shoot for. So now the faceplate on this type of a skimmer is adjustable. So we could actually raise or lower the water level by 3 inches, but we always use that as our benchmark, and then we could go plus or minus from that point.
Here's the thing, I want you guys to be successful, and a lot of guys are gonna go, oh, I can just use this cheap knockoff brand, or I can use something else. I'm not a believer in that. Just do what they're doing, and then if you see some kind of a way, an opportunity to do it, then do it, but don't start running out of the gate thinking you're gonna improve upon what these guys have been doing. Greg ordered this clock off Amazon.
Yeah,
Just to do this pond build.
unreal.
Okay, no, wait a minute. You want to know something even more unreal?
Okay.
All right, watch this. All right, so we've got it plugged in. Watch this second hand. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. It's unplugged.
Okay.
31, 32, 33, not yet, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40.
It's going even unplugged.
It goes unplugged.
Oh my God.
How the, I mean,
That's called a fail. That is called a fail. 160 bucks I spent on that.
so we have to take an hour off from our time because we took an hour break to do the photo shoot.
Yeah.
We started at 1600, so if we take an hour off, we're at 1639 technically.
Oh my gosh, this is too complicated. It's harder to do the clock than build a pond.
4 inches down from your deck. Okay, so now you do use a laser on a pond. Do you always have to use a laser, Brian?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Right? Do you have to? No. Are there other ways to do it? Of course. You could put string levels across, you can put 2x4s across and level it off that way and measure it down.
Ed, why are you in it? Is there a reason? Are you trying to compact the bottom? Or?
I'm trying to hold it steady, so as they're adding soil in here, because we're coming in, this is not that heavy. If you start pushing it, it'll start raising it up and it's going to push it out of whack. So have some weight inside of it makes a big difference.
Pro tips, you guys. Pro tips. These guys have been doing this for, well, 50 combined years, but literally, Brian's
Better leaving
been doing this since he was 18.
I usually keep it 5'5".
So the plumbing for the pond is no different than the plumbing for the fountain or waterfall. Some glue on the spa hose, shove it in, hold it for a few minutes. You do want to put some soil underneath that before you just lay the hose down, because as you backfill over the top of it, that flex can create a rupture in it. Chris and Ed have already done that. Now they're just fortifying it up. Hold it. You just got to hold it for a few minutes and it'll be good to go. It's as simple as that. So guys, what you're seeing is they've already backfilled a lot around the, what is that, the skimmer box? That's not the skimmer box. What is that one? That's the spillway up there?
The biofalls.
The biofalls. So now they're backfilling around the skimmer box. And they want to create this nice contour down in a way, because we have it volcanoed up, it looks unnatural. So they're just taking all that soil and laying it out around the outside. They don't haul any soil away on a site. In fact, a lot of times they haul soil in to create that naturalistic, gradual effect going up instead of this thing. Okay, top two shelves are built. Brian's laying out the third shelf. This is the deep hole in the center. And that goes another whatever inches deep. How much deeper is the third shelf again, Brian?
Another 6 to 8 inches.
6 to-
Just whatever we need to get to the 24.
Okay. So the whole pond is not 24 inches deep.
Right here.
And over there,
6 to 8 inches there.
Not right
18
there.
inches
Not right there either.
no, just in the center. That's an important
Correct.
thing that these guys, because these guys think a 24-inch pond, they're going to go out and dig 24 inches all the way down, and then their liner's going to be short.
So, well, the liner would be short. The other thing that would happen is you would need twice as much rock. It's going to take twice as much excavation time. So by doing these layers, it's going to look more aesthetically pleasing. It's going to look like a natural lake. Like you're not, unless you're at a quarry, A lake does not go straight down and then a flat bottom. So we're gonna have a series of shelves. The reason that we're doing that, more efficient utilization of materials, more efficient excavation, still have the deep water for the fish. It's gonna look more natural, but we're also creating habitat for different types of aquatic plantings. A 24-inch deep pond, you could only have water lilies in. This edge up here, that's 8 inches of water, it opens us up to literally thousands of types of aquatic vegetation, different types of marginal aquatics that can be planted along the perimeter. So it's giving us the habitat. The other thing is safety and maintenance. If our homeowners or our customers are going to enter the pond, it's like walking down a set of stairs. You're stepping literally 8 inches at a time. If someone were to step into a 24-inch deep pond, it's going to be slippery on the bottom, you're going to fall, you're going to get hurt, it's a dangerous thing. So this is very conducive for maintenance, for access, for plants, for fish. During the springtime when your koi are gonna spawn, they're going to go up into that shallow area right over there. It's going to be close to the waterfall, highly oxygenated. It's going to be like a gravel bed. That's where the fish normally spawns. If you have a 24-inch deep pond or deeper, the fish aren't going to spawn. You don't have the right habitat for that animal.
What do you do when you're doing this is
Alright, you guys, well, we're far from finished on this project, and in part 2 of this, we're going to wrap up this pond. It originally started out as an 11 by 11, but it grew to an 11 by 16. So the value of the pond itself grew from about $9,000 to over $11,500 with $8,000 in pure profit. But we've got a lot more in-water features coming down the pipeline, you guys. In fact, in an upcoming video, we're going to be installing a fountain, which is a $3,500 project all day long, and we're going to do it in under 50 minutes. It's flipping insane. I wouldn't believe it if I wasn't there. We're going to, in another upcoming video, we're going to be doing a pond-less waterfall, and that's like one of those waterfalls that kind of disappear into nothing, and the guys are going to be doing that in 2 hours and 20 minutes, and we're going to be taking you through it step by step. So hopefully by the time you're done with these things, if you guys are going to go out and try to tackle a project like this on your own, you can. And without saying anything more, I will see you guys in part 2 of this big giant pond project. God bless you guys. Go get them. And hey, do me a favor, check out these 2 videos right here. And in the comments down below, let me know if you like videos like this.